Let's solve the equation z squared equals negative 12. Okay, z squared equals negative 12 is set up for me to use the square root property. So I'll use the square root property. Okay, so I know what this means. Z squared equals negative 12. All right, z equals the square root of negative 12, and z equals negative square root of negative 12. Now, we used to say that you can't have a negative under a square root. Okay, well, technically true, technically false. We can't leave it as a negative there, but we're not going to say that this doesn't exist anymore. Okay, this negative on the inside will be rewritten as an I on the outside of the square root. Okay, so that would become I, the square root of 12. And over here, it will become negative I, the square root of 12. Okay, let's talk about that I for a second. Okay, just remember, I is just the square root of negative 1. That's all it means. Okay, you could also say that I squared is equal to negative 1. Okay, so that's also something to keep in mind. But I in general just means a negative 1 under a square root. So whenever we take out, when we're taking out the negative, we're not really just pulling the negative out. We're really saying this is the same thing as negative 1 times 12. Well, that's the same thing as negative 1 times square root of 12. And this, we just said, is I. So that would be I times the square root of 12. Okay, so that's bad enough as it is. Not really. There was nothing difficult there. We just took the negative and brought it out as an I. Okay, it may be new, it may look different, but just take it for what it's worth. The only work you have to do there is recognize negative underneath the square root. Nope, can't be there. Take it out as an I. Okay, now 12. We can break down 12, right? We can figure out what does 12 equal. 12 is 3 times 4. 4 is 2 times 2. So 12 is the same thing as 2 times 2 times 3. Okay, well, we have a pair of 2s, so that's going to come out of the square root. Leave me with 2 square root of 3. Okay, so instead of having I square root of 12, we'll go ahead and say that our answer is 2 times I, the square root of 12. Okay, you might also see it like this. 2I, oh, not 12, silly, it's a 3. There we go, 2I square root of 3. Or you might see it as 2 square root of 3I. In this case, same exact thing, negative 2 square root of 3I. All right, so there we go. Our solutions are non-real, okay, but they are solutions nonetheless. 2 square root of 3I and negative 2 square root of 3I.